So two away here in this bottom of the fifth inning for the Maple Leafs. Justin Mara is the batter. A couple of groundouts to first base by Jose Vinicio, the last one.
Leafs dugout not happy with that one. Mara's not happy with that one. And comes an inning after, half an inning after. What should have been an out call if you look at a screenshot that was sent my way by an unnamed source. It was an out, but it's called a safe, and that's right now the go-ahead run this ball game.
As broadcasters, I'm always very anti pretending like we have a better perspective
100%.
on it than the umpire, which at the time we certainly didn't. But
Our
after
little
going back, it
video
was
review system, yeah.
it was about 6 or 7 feet.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a tough job. It was an outrageously bad call. But again, that happens to the ball game. That happens, but that's a big one.
Here's a foul ball straight back, and that one about 20 feet to our left.
On to oncoming traffic. We have our raffle guy going at that ball. So there you go.
2 strikes on Justin Mara, no balls. There's 2 outs in the inning. Claudio Custodio, the pitch, fouled off left side. And now you really got to think about making him work because the Leafs are going to need to score another run, and they would love to at least get to this Guelph Royals bullpen, or it's inevitable that they will. It's just a matter.
You don't want Claudio throwing anything more than 6 innings.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. And that will help out the Guelph Royals case. A 1-2-3 quick inning for Claudio Custodio as the Maple Leafs trail 2-1 to the Guelph Royals here at Dominico Field. It's Thomas West and Ryan Eakin, and we'll be right back in the top of the 6th inning. Welcome back to Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. It's 2-1 Guelph Royals, and it brings in Ryan Wells, the young 20-year-old from Caledon, Ontario. Making his debut at home here for the Toronto Maple Leafs, so it signals the end of the afternoon for Dylan Jacober, who had a pretty good pitching performance. 2 runs, both of them earned over 5 innings of work.
It should be interesting how Damon Topley, if this game stays close, how he manages this ball game. Do you try to get 2 innings from Wells, 1 from Mara, 1 from Nagorski? You try to get 2 from Adam Mara. It should be interesting because again, it's really only those 3 guys outside of perhaps Reese Montgomery that he can use in this ball game.
Count is 2 balls and 1 strike from Ryan Wells. And the first batter that he's facing is Dalton Pompey, who skies one in the air, but this one's going to hook out of play. Ryan Wells has appeared in 8 innings, struck out 6, and has a pretty respectable 4.50 ERA.
He had a tough debut in London in his first game, but since then he's had some nice outings against Brantford. He pitched in Guelph on Tuesday, so he's a guy that can eat some innings. He's kind of like that 5th, 6th inning guy just to get to the back of the Maple Leafs bullpen.
In the dirt, so the count runs full to Dalton Pompey.
And again, we talk about it with Vinicio, but a walk to Pompey can easily turn out to be a double with a stolen base.
Strike 3 called right over the inside corner. Dalton Pompey didn't like it, and he's going to stay and plead his case.
Welcome to the IBL, Dalton Pompey.
I think he's already made himself welcome.
Yeah, that's his baptism moment there.
So that brings up Brennan Keys, who has not had an official at-bat so far this game. He's walked both times. He also came around to score the first run of the ball game, shortly followed by Kyle Cush. This one's in the dirt from Wells. It's a big strikeout to start out the inning from Wells. Here's a ball ripped at the center field. And coming out and making a beautiful catch over the shoulder is Jose Vinicio. That ball wasn't hit as hard as it sounded off the bat, and Jose Vinicio was able to use that great speed to get out there and track it down.
He makes these look easy at shortstop for sure.
So it was a relatively easy catch, but I don't know if there's a lot of people that are going to get the jump that he got on that baseball and the speed just to close down. 2 away. Pitch is in the dirt. Just 9 pitches so far for Ryan Wells. He's on pace for a quick inning. As here's a ball hit to first base. An easy play for Jordan Castaldo. And that is a quick 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Wells as the Maple Leafs trail 2-1, but have the bats coming up. Jordan Castaldo leading things off. Thomas West and Ryan Eakin here at Christie Pitts. The Maple Leafs trailing 2-1 as this one's fouled off right in front of home plate by Castaldo. Castaldo leading off this inning, spent a lot of time as a leadoff hitter last year for the Maple Leafs.
To me, for the Leafs, pitch number 90 coming up here for Claudio. Get him over that 100 pitch mark. I know you don't want to focus on pitch count per se, but make him throw pitches this inning and get to that Guelph bullpen.
Swinging a ground ball to first base, but it went off the foot of Castaldo, so he'll stay alive. 1-2.
Guelph bullpen, though, is empty, so he's quite likely to get over the 100 pitch limit in this inning. They have had Claudio, throw a lot of pitches at some points in this season. 130 pitches here, 130 pitches there. I was talking to Dino before the game. He's excited at the fact that they have some Dominicans coming and can take off the workload of Claudio.
Pitch is outside, 2-2. Jordan Castaldo leading the Maple Leafs right now with 4 home runs on this IBL season. 4 home runs, 11 RBIs to go along with a .360 batting average. And Jordan Castaldo is no stranger to hitting over 300 or even over 400 in a season.
Over a Triple Crown in 2019 for the Baycats, so one of the best to do it in the last 10 years.
And he had a .453 batting average in that Triple Crown year.
I remember he always talks about I remember I had a down season in 2015, but I really got going come the playoff time. And I look at his 2015 stats, and I'm like, most guys in this league, they'd be thrilled with that down season, but this is the way he is and the expectations that he has for himself.
Pitch is just inside, 3-2.
Claudio wanted that pitch.
Jordan Castaldo has a not unique, but a good outlook on hitting. He takes everything one at bat at a time, which obviously is a cliche, but he sees the pitcher-batter matchup as a battle. And if you can get on base, you win the battle. And if you don't get on base, you don't win the battle. And he just goes up and tries to win battles. As he swings and hits one on the ground to first base, Claudio will win this battle. Here's a throw to first base, and oh my goodness.
I don't know what Claudio's doing.
Claudio didn't run to first base. And never mind, he will win that battle as he gets down to first base.
There is not a better athlete on the mound in the IBL in the last 10 years than Claudio Custodio. I mean, this is a guy that, he bats too. Like, if you look at his numbers offensively, he's got an on-base percentage of 500. I do know his hamstring's not 100%, so maybe he doesn't want to push it, but geez. I mean, the Dino's coming out to argue, but I don't know what there is to argue about that one.
So the way I see that was a miscommunication coming off the mound between first baseman
You
and
have to
pitcher.
assume that the first baseman Claudio thought the first baseman could take it to the bag himself, but that's tough. And not too much of an argument from Dino. He's a guy that got tossed here in the first inning of the first game here at Christie Pitts earlier in the season. So he's lasted a lot longer in this one than he did a couple months back.
Needless to say, that is a gift over there at first base. The Maple Leafs have had trouble getting runners on base hits or on base of any variety against Claudio Custodio. But now they have the leadoff man on and a couple bats that they've been pretty happy with this season in John Salazzo and Aiden McCaskey, as Castaldo will try and circle the bases. Pitches in there for a strike, 1-1. Would be a good time for that first home run of the year from John Salazzo with the Maple Leafs trailing 2-1 and a runner on first. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. A ball and 2 strikes. Salazzo hitting .258 this season, 11 RBIs. He's 16 for 62. Claudio Custodio under a little bit of pressure. Here's a ball hit in the air, left side. This one's going to hook foul.
That's Bobby. That's my guy.
A diehard Maple Leafs fan making a catch out there in left field. Count remains 2-1 on John Salazzo. Swinging a ground ball to first base. That one's going to get through. It'll be a single for Salazzo as Brendan Keys just had it squeak under his glove, but it was a hard hit ball nevertheless. 2 on with nobody out. And this is some of the most pressure that the Leafs have put on Claudio Custodio yet this afternoon. And it's Aiden McCaskey in a huge spot.
Designator Aiden McCaskey.
Here in the top of the 7th inning. Claudio Custodio looks in. He's pitching from the stretch to start this inning. And here's a bunt. It goes down to third base. The only play will be to first, and he'll be safe. The ball gets away. Coming in to score is Jordan Castaldo, and the Maple Leafs have tied things up as they put the ball in play. Aiden McCaskey has great speed down to first base, and he draws a throwing error as well. So now nobody on, game tied, and runners at first and third for the Maple Leafs, who may have found a way to crack Claudio Custodio in this top of the 7th inning.
And someone might say, oh, why even bunt in that spot and give up an out? He was not bunting to give himself up. He did not bunt. He did not have that bunt laid down ready to go. He bunted that the last second. He's trying to get on base, and he puts pressure, as you said, on Malik Collymore at third base, and the Leafs end up tying the ball game because of it.
So here's Mara. Pitch is way high. That's Dan Mara, the second baseman. Grant Timane is on deck. So for Aiden McCaskey, it'll go as a single and then a throwing error on the third baseman. Here's a ball hit to third. It gets down the line. The Maple Leafs take the lead. John Salazzo scores. Racing around the third base is Aiden McCaskey, and he's going to get thrown out there. Not a particularly wise base running decision, but the Maple Leafs do take a 4-3 lead. 3-2 lead, excuse me.
But, you look at that spot. I mean, Claudio's now over 100 pitches. Yeah, it'd be nice to see at second base. Then you also look at it, and Tamani comes up. He's also a guy, too, that can lay down a bunt down the third baseline, perhaps get on. But at the same time, you can't, you like the aggressiveness against a guy like Claudio and trying to maximize as many runs as possible.
But unfortunate outcome with what could have been runner on first and third with no out. Now runner on first with 1 out, as the pitch is in there to a strike to Grant Timane. But the Leafs will certainly be happy with taking a lead, but they will likely need more coming up against this Guelph Royals offense. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
In this game, maybe to both managers' unhappiness, it might come down to the bullpens for both teams. And they aged a lot yesterday, seeing the two bullpens go at it against each other, and that's going to be the case again today here at Christie Pitts.
Timane check swing. I don't think he meant to, but he fouls it off down the right side.
But as I do mention the bullpen, that Guelph bullpen is still completely empty, not even one guy stretching. So who knows what Claudio's pitch limit really is in this ballgame.
Right over the inside corner, strike 3 called to Grant Timane. And now Greg Carrington comes up with 1 on and 2 out. Greg Carrington coming to this game hitting .268 in 54 at-bats, 6 RBIs, walked 8 times, struck out just 11. The pitch is swung on and missed.
You mentioned the Leafs lineup no longer having Sean O'Reilly, no longer having Takamatsu. But you bring in Vinicio, and Greg Carrington is another guy like that, right? He was on the team from 2017 to 2019. He played last year in the Professional League of Pecos League, and here he is back in the IBL.
Hit in the air to left field. Right in his tracks is the left fielder, Ethan Hammond. And the Guelph Royals will mitigate the damage here in the top of the 7th inning, but not before the Maple Leafs played a couple of runs and now take a 3-2 lead over the Guelph Royals. And it's Ryan Wells coming back out and looking for another quick inning of work from Thomas West and Ryan Eakin here at Dominico Field. We'll be right back. Top of the order coming up for the Guelph Royals, Ethan Hammond to lead things off against Ryan Wells out for his second inning of work as he delivers strike one.
Kyle Smith now up that Maple Leafs bullpen and has been for a bit, so he can come in when needed, but Ryan Wells hoping for another shutdown inning for the Maple Leafs here in the 7th.
Here's a ball fouled straight back.
He used to be the Leafs clubhouse manager. He sadly passed away, but he always used to say heads up on the hill. You need someone to say heads up on the hill for balls like that one.
Curveball over the outside corner, strike three called. How about the movement on that one?
Some nice movement. I'm not sure how much of the plate it may have caught, but Wells would take it, and the Leafs definitely will not complain.
It's an interesting curveball, the way it comes out of Ryan Wells' hands.
It's also effective against left-handed bats, too.
The arm speed is just so much faster than the pitch. You'd imagine that the spin rate is pretty quick, too. It's not quite 12-6, but it was enough to fool leadoff hitter Ethan Hammond as Kyle DeGrace comes to the plate. And it's ball one in the dirt. Second pitch to DeGrace, also in the dirt. 2-0.
Again, this is a spot you want to get DeGrace and you want to have 2 out, nobody on base for Sean Riley.
Now DeGrace is 0 for 3 today with a strikeout and takes one right down the middle.
And we should mention that Guelph bullpen is empty, so Claudio well over 100 pitches. He knows what his limit is in this one, but he's coming up for the 7th inning.
Here's a ball hit. One hopper to Jose Vinicio, seeing the speed of DeGrace, who makes a turn back to the dugout before the throw even gets there. That was really funny from Kyle DeGrace, as he didn't even run down the line to first base. But that's the confidence of Jose Vinicio out there. He's such a good defender.
And the confidence that I guess his opponent has in him, too. So There you go.
Kyle DeGrace didn't hit it all that softly, which is what made it such a routine play for Jose Vinicio.
And it's amazing to think, back in his prime in 2013, Kyle DeGrace led the IBL in stolen bases. So this is a guy that once upon a time was a speedster.
Riley hammers one to center field, but right at Connor Lewis. And that is a very, very quick inning for Ryan Wells, who's thrown 18 pitches through 2 innings of work. How about that? Leafs lead 3-2 over the Guelph Royals. Thomas West and Ryan Eakin will be back in just a couple minutes for the bottom of the 8th. Welcome back to Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. The Leafs recently in the last inning taking a very slight 3-2 lead, and this has been a nail biter here at Christie Pitts as Connor Lewis leads things off.
I know Guelph does have a streak going. I know their bullpen's taxed, but it's just amazing that they have nobody up in that bullpen, given how many pitches he's at. At the end of the day, it's a regular season game. It's a league that everyone makes the playoffs, and not to take away the importance of any game on any given day, but you have to think, Claudio, this has to be his last inning. Dino came out to make sure Kyle DeGrace was okay after taking a foul ball off that one.
Connor Lewis has been pretty good defensively. Made a nice catch on a hard line drive by Sean Riley to end the last inning. And how about the work of Ryan Wells on the mound as well? 18 pitches, 6 up, 6 down.
I believe he's done. He was given a handshake by Damon Topley at the end of the 7th inning, but quite the outing by Ryan Wells, to say the least. It does look like Kyle Smith, the Niagara University alum, will be coming in the 8th inning.
So we'll see if the bullpen of the Maple Leafs can get it done. They would love some insurance runs, all starting with this inning here, and they've got some speed potentially coming up towards the base path.
I should say that's no longer DeGrace catching. That's we have not gotten a number on it, but I promise that's.
Swinging a foul off by Lewis.
I want to say Brendan Keys is now behind the plate, moving from first base, but we can't get confirmation. And
it is Brendan Keys.
It is Brendan Keys. There you go.
So it was a rude start to the game for Brendan Keys as well as took a foul ball on the second pitch. So Kyle DeGrace is out of the game, and almost symbolic on that last ground ball that he hit as he ran straight to the dugout.
That may be, who knows, his last at-bat here at Christie Pitts, or in a playoff matchup coming up for the last game later on in the season. But that was he told me before the game he wanted to come up here, get 4 hacks in, and call it a day. And I think he called that one right to your tee. So, yep. And also for him, it's just a matter of getting loose, getting ready, and the fact he even caught it, I guess you can say, is quite impressive.
Got 4 hacks in, was 0 for 4, but just 1 strikeout. Put the ball in play relatively hard.
And he had a couple decent at-bats early on, right? Looking at a lot of pitches, fouling back a lot of pitches. So not a bad day in the office for DeGrace. Just got his feet under him again.
Custodio throws one outside. Jose Vinicio walked in his last at-bat. Justin Mara on deck. And then Jordan Castaldo, the first baseman.
Well, his bullpen finally getting active.
Vinicio chops one on the ground to first base, but it rolls foul. Jose Vinicio, although he didn't start with the Maple Leafs, is leading the team right now in at-bats. He had 74 coming into tonight.
That would be Jordan Castaldo if it wasn't for the fact that you have to take away so many
walks
at-bats because of his walks.
Yeah. Vinicio also hitting the leadoff spot helps. Swing and a miss by Jose Vinicio. That's strike 3. 2 strikeouts to start the inning for Claudio Custodio.
Catcher Justin Mara.
This is a kind of situation where you see Mara get a little bit long on those swings and see if he can't put one into left field or right field, I should say, with nobody on and 2 outs.
Pitch number 117 coming up for Claudio.
And there's that big swing and a miss, strike 1.
He might be getting better as this game goes on right now. I mean, Claudio, to me, looks completely locked in still.
Custodio is approaching 120 pitches in this game.
Claudio, like Sean Riley, didn't used to. He was a hitter with the Yankees, and then he became a pitcher with the Baycats. Besides his time with the Baycats, he was never at any point a position or a pitching prospect. He was always a position prospect. So
the opposite
quite the
of
turn.
Sean Riley.
Yeah, the opposite of Sean Riley. Yes, the same kind of development in terms of switching.
Here's the ball ripped down the line, foul.
I think both guys made the right decision. Shaw's a natural home run hitter, I like to think, and Claudio, I think he's got the pitching thing down pat.
Well, when Sean Riley was drafted as the Minnesota Twins player, you wouldn't have recognized him. He was a lanky kid, and now he's
not lanky.
Not lanky, no, and not out of shape as well. He is an absolute specimen. That's strike 3, swing and a miss, as Claudio Custodio, for the third time tonight, strikes out the side. And the Maple Leafs still holding on to that 3-2 lead over the Guelph Royals. New pitcher coming into the game when we come back. It's the Maple Leafs 3 and the Guelph Royals 2 as we head to the top of the 8th inning. Welcome back to Maple Leafs baseball. Kyle Smith is into the game, and he delivers strike 1, but it's hit on the ground through the left side. That's a leadoff single for the Guelph Royals and Dalton Pompey.
Second baseman, Darius Barlos.
So 1 pitch, and already a runner on first base with nobody out, and we'll give you a profile on Kyle Smith. Boy, this guy can throw hard.
Velocity is not the issue for Kyle Smith. He's perhaps outside of, we can say, well, really, I would say nobody. I mean, he's the hardest thrower on this team, maybe outside Dustin Richardson, but a ton of velocity. Obviously, with that, the reason why he's not necessarily in independent baseball is he has some issues throwing strikes, but he has had a couple of impressive outings for the Maple Leafs this season. Finished off at Niagara University a couple months back, I should say now. So a potential massive arm for the Maple Leafs in the back end of their bullpen. But at the same time, a hit and miss. So we'll see what we get here in the 8th inning.
Just a matter of the control. And if he can cradle that in, you can really tell. I don't know if you can tell in the broadcast, but that ball is sizzling into the mid of Justin Mara. Pompey at first base. He is a threat to steal. The velocity will help keep him there at first base. Pitch outside. Count is 3 balls and 1 strike on Barlos. Dalton Pompey with a relatively modest lead at first base, but he will go as the pitch is way inside. Ball 4.
Saw it there, and I mean, wasn't really close to Barless, who has taken a couple of walks in this game now. You have to wonder if Jeff McLeod might be biting this baseball.
Right fielder, Jeff McLeod.
If the velocity is going to play, he will have to prove that he can throw strikes. As here's the pitch, and a pickoff play may have been on, but it's in there for strike 1. Kyle Smith has pitched 2 innings for the Maple Leafs, but has an ERA over 9, but that will diminish if he is able to have a good outing. He's struck out 4 in the 2 innings that he's worked. Smith's pitch is way up and in. 1-1.
Quick correction to that was Collymore at third base. Bullpen is on deck, but easy to confuse the two given both have elite speed. But again, Bullpen in that 7 spot for Guelph here today.
Right. We're not used to seeing Dalton Pompey way down the lineup. Here's a bunt attempt. He bunts right through it. Strike 2.
Do you bunt in this spot at 2 strikes? Or do you let Jeff McLeod, who's I think a really decent hitter, especially from the left side facing the righty, I'll let him swing away.
Well, now he has 2 strikes, so he will be swinging the bat. Dalton Pompey on deck. If there's anyone who could handle velocity, you'd have to think it would be the major league experience of Dalton Pompey. That was a curveball that was up and in. It's a lot of arms and legs coming at you with Smith. And a ton of velocity as well. Here's the pitch. Curveball. Strike 3 called over the inside corner. Jeff McLeod goes down looking. That's a big out for the young righty.
Center fielder, Dalton Pompey.
Talk about a big moment here. Say Zach Guy, 12 foot stop, Dalton Pompey. Outside maybe Sean Riley, perhaps. But what a spot here with the tying run at second base and the go-ahead run at first.
So Dalton Pompey coming into this game had only struck out 7 times this season, but he's struck out twice tonight.
And you see the velocity from Smith. He's as advertised for sure. I mean, this guy can absolutely have the velocity up there, perhaps even higher than Dustin Richardson right now. This is no question of a hard-throwing righty out of the Maple Leafs bullpen.
Here's the pitch, way inside. And it gets away. Here's a throw down to third base, not in time. That was some alert base running down there at third base from Collymore. And we mentioned about the speed of Malik Collymore, and we may have even forgot about him sitting down there. He read the play in the dirt. Mara was maybe a little bit casual picking that ball up, and Malik Collymore moves up already in scoring position, but now in dangerous scoring position at third base.
Well, that's the thing, too. Maybe if Mara made an effort on that, Pompey may have had batter's interference, but not much effort from Mara, not expecting Collymore to go to third base, and that allowed him to get to third base without any real issue because Pompey did seem to not really know where the ball was in that spot. It's going to be tough to double him up to on a ball on the ground, to say the least.
Smith looks in, works quickly. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. And that's strike 2. 2-2 on Dalton Pompey.
Adam Mara up in the Maple Leafs bullpen. There's a line of lefties coming up after Dalton Pompey. You look at Brendan Keys and Kyle Kush and Ethan Hammond. So it should be interesting what happens after this at bat.
Pitch is way inside, and it just missed Pompey. And the run is going to come in to score. It almost seems like it ticked the jersey of Dalton Pompey, but not so. And this game is tied as that's just the base running there from Malik Collymore going to third base, and he's able to score on the wild pitch.
Smith, you see him try to get to the mound, but he tripped off the mound, so he had no chance. Not that there was much of one with Collymore's speed at third base.
Ball 4 to Dalton Pompey. We should highlight as well, Dalton Pompey getting out of the way of that ball is what allowed that run to score. Yeah. That was an unbelievable effort to get away from a breaking ball that was coming right near his stomach.
And I think that's going to be the end of Smith's night. I think you're going to see Mara come in here facing the line of lefties.
So will be Mara, and it's going to be an extremely different look as well. You go from the hard thrower to a soft tosser with lots of movement and a sidewinder as well. Out of the game is Connor Smith. Here comes Adam Mara, and we will be back in just a couple minutes.
Right.
So the Maple Leafs turn to the sidewinder and Adam Mara, and the first pitch is just outside.
Damon Topley, Maple Leafs manager, playing the percentages. As I said, 3 straight lefties coming up. He goes to the lefty. All you can really do as a manager.
Up and in, and now you think about not much place to put runners with first and second. Mara's pitch inside, 3-0. Adam Mara has pitched 12 2/3 innings for the Maple Leafs and now delivers high. Ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to start things off. And this is a big spot in the moment in this game and maybe even the season for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Tied 3-3 with 1 out. The bases loaded against the Guelph Royals, and the Maple Leafs are in jeopardy right now as they're trying to break this 7-game win streak by Guelph. And Adam Mara is going to have to bear down in this scenario. Pitch is right down the middle, strike 1.
It's a ground ball away from getting out of it, but at the same time, there's some speed in that batter's box with Crush, so it's a tough one for Mara for sure.
Crush takes inside 1-1, hitting 176 coming into tonight, 6 for 34. And he's the number 9 hitter in this lineup. Pitches up and in, 2-1. Adam Mara having a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone here with no place to put the number 9 hitter in Kyle Cush. Pitch is in there for a strike right over the outside corner, 2-2. Mara works quickly, waiting for Cush to get back in the batter's box. The 2-2 with 1 out. Outside, 3-2. The base runners will not be off on the pitch. There's 1 out.
Yeah, would be quite bold, but at this point, now you guys make sure Mara can throw a strike.
Here's the pitch over the outside corner. Strike 3 called. And that was a huge pitch as Kyle Cush never took the bat off his shoulder. And now there's 2 outs with the bases loaded in a tie ball game. And it's Ethan Hammond coming up.
Another lefty, but it does not get any easier. It's Ethan Hammond, who had the walk-off hit last night. Now he has an opportunity, to come up with the biggest hit of the game here. The base hit definitely brings in 2 runs for the Maple Leafs. Guelph.
Pitch just outside, ball 1. We believe that it's Evan Kaiser who is warming up in the Guelph Royals bullpen, which could mean that Claudio Custodio's night is done. This pitch is ripped foul, 1-1. Ethan Hammond is 1 for 3 today with a strikeout and a walk and a couple of RBIs. Delivered an RBI single that scored the 8 and 9 hitters. Here's the ball ripped foul left side, and now Adam Mara is a strike away from getting out of this difficult situation that he was placed in with 1 out and runners on first and second. Base is now loaded, and this is a massive pitch coming up. 2-1 to Ethan Hammond. Here it comes. Over the outside corner, back-to-back strikeouts for Adam Mara, and this game will remain tied, but the Guelph Royals do put this to a 3-3 score between Guelph and the Toronto Maple Leafs. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the bats for the Maple Leafs coming up. Welcome back to Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. It's Thomas West and Ryan Eakin and Claudio Custodio coming back out for his 8th inning of work. And Ryan, he's only at 122 pitches.
It's just another day in the office for Claudio. I mean, I understand the bullpen's tax. I get it. I do. But, man, is it really worth a victory if you're taxing a guy like Claudio? I like the idea of, what Damon Topley does. You play the long game. If you lose a game, but the pitcher is still relatively healthy, what have you, you take it. This is a bold move by Dino Ramel. I mean, obviously it's not a lack of performance this year. It's just a matter of the pitch count. Across the street.
Across the street. Up high. So this will be maybe close to a 130, 140 pitch performance here from Claudio Custodio.
And kind of throwing in that Guelph bullpen, but he's not looking like he's someone that's coming in the next batter, right? I mean, this is a guy that is casually tossing the baseball down the first baseline.
Swing and a miss, strike 2. And oh, by the way, Claudio Custodio has 16 strikeouts tonight. And he's in a 2-2 count.
And this is like a legitimate Maple Leaf lineup too, which goes to show how dominant Claudio is.
Pitches in the dirt, 3-2. Castaldo trying to lead things off. He's got John Salazzo on deck and then Aiden McCaskey. The pitch, swing and a miss. Strikeout number 17 for Claudio Custodio, and he gives a little fist bump on the mound afterwards as well. And wondering if that may have been a career high for Claudio Custodio.
I mean, I think if you go back to Game 3 of the 2017 IBL Finals, he allowed 1 hit in 9 innings against the Panthers. You ask anyone in the Baycast, say it's the most dominant performance in franchise history, given the stage and all that. But from a pure strikeout perspective, you can go through his game log, but goodness, what a performance by Claudio Custodio.
We're not going to do that right now, but if you're at home and you want to have a look at maybe what's the record for strikeouts in a game in the IBL or how many Claudio Custodio has had in his IBL career, which isn't particularly long. You can go ahead and throw that in the chat on YouTube. I'm interested to know. Either way, this has been a dominant performance in terms of strikeouts in this game.
Now, at this point, you have to think, after all this, there's no way he's not coming out for the ninth inning. Whether the game is tied or whether Guelph's taking the lead in the bottom or the top of the ninth, you're obviously letting him ride or die tonight. I mean, at that point, you're talking maybe 140, 145, 150 pitches. But man, that is a lot of pitches. It is a lot of pitches. It's quite something.
Yeah, hey Claudio, it's your game tonight.
I mean, Justin Ciccatello back in 2013, he threw 192 pitches for the Leafs in a game. So, that happens, I guess.
Swinging a ball ripped down the left field line, and it's foul. Hard contact from John Salazzo, but he was a little bit out in front.
And looking now through his game logs, 14 strikeouts on June 10th, 2017 against Hamilton. That was his first ever game he's pitched in baseball, or at least started a game. Mm-hmm. So 14 strikeouts career high, so he's blowing past that here on Sunday afternoon at Christie Pitts.
And that stat is coming from Stats Guy Rain over to our right.
Get a name tag for that.
Yeah, we should. Excellent. Well done to our small production crew here at Maple Leafs Baseball. That pitch was in the dirt, ball 4, so there is a runner now at first base. John Salazzo is representing the go-ahead run for the Maple Leafs. This is the bottom of the 8th inning. Here's Aiden McCaskey. He hits one pretty hard to the left side, but right at the left fielder, Ethan Hammond, who comes in and makes the catch, and there's 2 away. Dan Mara comes up. He has a single up the middle tonight, or this afternoon, I should say. Claudio Custodio, 93 strikes and 42 balls, and there's number 94 right down the middle, strike 1.
Like we talk about Jacober being around that 90 pitch mark. Claudio's almost thrown 100 strikes, let alone 100 pitches, 100 strikes. So it really is quite something.
Yeah. He's throwing 1 ball for every 3 strikes right now in this baseball game.
The Leafs have seen Claudio twice this week. They've seen him 3 times in the season. I'm pretty sure they don't want to see him again for the last 2 meetings of this season, last 2 months of the season.
Inside, ball 2, 2-1 to Mara. So that was pitch number 137 from Claudio Custodio. Here's 138. It's in there for a strike, 2-2. Think back to that relief appearance that Dustin Richardson had in the IBL finals. That was also the Sean Riley walk-off home run to center field. Here's a ball ripped up the middle. This one's dropping, and it will fall in front of Dalton Pompey. First and second, 2 outs with Grant Tamane coming to the plate. And just to finish up that thought as well, that was a pitch count near 100 for Dustin Richardson, but in a relief appearance.
And for a guy that has not thrown that many pitches in an outing for quite some time. And also what's amazing about that is there's many people that, say he would have pitched game 5 in London and started that game in London the next night if he did not have to do that. So if that was the case, obviously there'd be a different IBL champion in 2021, but such is life, and London ended up taking the championship the next game.
Pitch over the outside corner. And you had a conversation with Dustin Richardson as well. I don't know if we have time to break down that entire thing, but you can go over to the Maple Leafs YouTube channel, which you're on right now, and see that conversation between Richardson and Ryan Eakin. And he had some interesting things to say as that one's in there for strike 1. Some of the highlights of that was talking about that double that Cleveland Brownlee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I found your bat, Cleveland.
Yeah. And he's saying how they're bunting on me. They can't get a hit, so they're bunting on me. So
swing and a miss, ball in the dirt, tag applied, and Claudio Custodio on pitch number 141 gets through 8 innings of work, and we're tied at Christie Pitts, 3-3 between the Maple Leafs and the Guelph Royals. We head to the 9th inning and a new pitcher coming in for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So this is Noah Roberts who's going to come in and take an at bat here for the Guelph Royals. And he has had a good bat of late over this 7-game win streak for Guelph. Chris Nagorski is into the game, the former Barrie Baycat, and it's in there for ball 1.
Former Guelph Royal too. He was traded from Guelph to the Baycats in 2013, and a trade that ended up paying out for the Baycats. Ended up becoming the all-time saves leader. So
here's a high chopper. Vinicio comes in charging, flips it over to first base, and a casual out number 1 for the silky smooth shortstop on the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And it brings up Sean Riley. I mean, you mentioned it. Sean Riley's a professional hitter. He's not going to come up here and try to swing for the fences. But, man, if there's ever a spot for the greatest power hitter, home run hitter in IBL history to come up to swing for the fences, it's 1 out, nobody on base in the 9th inning with the opportunity to give his team the lead.
Sean Riley comes up with no one on and 1 out. The pitch from Nagorski is down and away, ball 1.
These two players have seen each other a ton over many, many seasons in the IBL. Riley's been playing since the late 90s, and Nagorski since his days with Oshawa in 2009.
Riley fouls it off left side. And look out on the hillside.
That went off someone or something, quite likely a someone. But
they are okay, though.
Seems to be okay. I would not be a fan of taking a Sean Riley line drive
off
of me.
No. Nagorski looks in. And he hits Riley up and in. Sean Riley will jog to first base. So that represents the go-ahead run at first for the Guelph Royals.
It is one of those things too. Do you pinch run for Riley? I say no, because if this game goes to extra innings, you don't not. If you're Dino Romelo, you do not want to have a chance where like it's Riley's spot to win a ball game and it's somebody else up to plate. He's got enough speed, just enough speed where ball in the gap with Collymore, perhaps he can come home himself. So I think that's the right call for sure.
Malik Collymore takes strike 1.
And you mentioned last time up, Collymore having some power. He's definitely has power. I mean, this is a guy that he's known for his speed and on-base ability, sure, but he's got some massive power from the right side.
Yeah, being a power hitter, it's just a stereotype that you don't have speed. But we're seeing all throughout baseball, power hitters having speed. Not necessarily the 5-tool players, but 4- and 3-tool players, no doubt.
If there is a 5-tool player in this league, obviously think of guys like Pompey, but Malik Collymore is right there with anyone.
Here's the pitch. It's hit in the air, but this one's not particularly deep, but way up there. It's hanging up in the air and coming over and making the catch. That's Grant Tamane, 2 away. That was skied out there to left field.
Second baseman, Darius Barless.
YouTube.
Nagorski delivers a strike over the outside corner.
Big at bat here. You mentioned Barlow's not necessarily a power guy the way Collymore or Sean Riley is, but a base hit here, and that brings up Jeff McLeod, and then a base hit from McLeod and bring home Riley. So a big at bat here.
Another one in there for strike 2. Barless trying to keep this inning going. Nagorski, a ton of experience closing things down, especially late in the ball game. This time coming in a tie situation.
Umpire calls time as there's a ball left unattended behind the home plate.
Oh, 0-2. The Maple Leafs have Barless played straight away. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball to third base. He's got speed. Salazzo making his first play of the ball game in the 9th inning, and he makes a strong throw onto first base, and Nagorski shuts down the Guelph Royals in the 9th. The Maple Leafs with a chance to win it, tied 3-3 coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning, and would love some redemption after being walked off last night in Guelph. Greg Carrington leading things off for the Maple Leafs. And finally, Ryan, a new pitcher into the game for the Guelph Royals.
And it's Brandon Deans, who pitched yesterday, the former Ontario Blue Jay, He was also coached by Dino Romel and, as a kid. And Deans, he pitched yesterday. He ended up picking up the W, but he blew the game in the ninth inning, a one-run lead, and he threw a lot of walks. He threw 4 walks. At least did not get a hit in the ninth inning, yet still came back and tied the game. But Deans has had a couple massive moments this season, and he's looking for another one here.
2-1 the count, a couple consecutive balls delivered to Greg Carrington, who will lead this thing off in the ninth. And there's outside, ball 4. Carrington down to first base.
Now, if I'm Connor Lewis, I'm butting this baseball. But not until Brandon Deans can show he can throw a strike. And he's just going to say, I'm sure, but Toppy's talking to him to make sure there's no confusion about signs or anything.
And that may or may not have been to discuss the possibility of a bunt. The Guelph Royals know it.
But then again, Malik Collymore at third base, I mean, you do a bunt that's not great. He might be able to throw out the lead runner given his speed and fielding ability. So this better be a great bunt if you're going to bunt this baseball.
Lewis does have good speed. He squares to bunt, but takes way outside. Ball 1.
And Dean showed yesterday, Dean's picked up the W, so let's, give him credit. He got out of bases loaded jam. But he did show yesterday that there is some control issues. Maybe you don't want to bunt and give up an out in this ball game quite yet.
And here's the bunt play. He gets it down to first base. It's a good one. The out will be applied via the tag on Connor Lewis down to first base. And now the winning run is in scoring position for Jose Vinicio.
And the idea with bunting in this spot is now that he's a base hit away, giving Carrington speed of winning this ball game. With Vinicio up, who's been having great at-bat after great at-bat in this game. And then Justin Moore and Jordan Casaldo, who I'd put up with any other hitters in this league in terms of being the best hitters in this league. So it's a nice spot to have for the Maple Leafs right now.
Deans looks into Jose Vinicio, who has a strikeout but has done a good job putting the ball in play, and that's what he's going to need to do. No question, he'll try and chop one to the outfield. Here's one hit up the middle. It goes into center field. Rounding third base is Carrington. Here's the play at the plate, and he will score. Jose Vinicio walks it off for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They win 4-3 and end the 7-game win streak of the Guelph Royals.
As gutsy of a performance as you can get, the Leafs have faced Claudio 3 times this season. They have now beaten Guelph twice in 2 of those 3 games, both coming via walk-offs, and both here at Christie Pitts.
So an excellent ball game that the fans here at Dominico Field were treated to tonight, and most will go home happy. And that is a big win for the Maple Leafs as well. They end the 3-game losing streak and continue to climb up the IBL standings, trying to get closer and closer to those teams in the Welland Jackfish and the London Majors.
Yeah, and I was just looking at this game too. I mean, that's what the best part about baseball is, right? It's not football, but if you get a tough loss, like, man, I can't play for another 7 days. A heartbreaking loss yesterday. You're up 5-1 with your ace on the mound. But then guess what? That game ended at almost midnight, and you're back at Christie Pitts 2 o'clock the next day. So it is the best part about baseball, in my opinion.
A gutsy performance from the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight from Thomas West and Ryan Eakin at Dominico Field. The Toronto Maple Leafs end the 3-game lose streak and win 4-3 via a walk-off base hit from Jose Vinicio at Dominico Field. We'll see you on Wednesday night here at 7 p.m. first pitch for more Maple Leafs baseball.